Have you ever locked in before? Have you guys ever, like, tried locking in? Hello, we're playing Silent Hill. Hopefully... I don't know what I was going to say. Hopefully everything should be fine. I think I actually have the dynamic lighting working properly this time. I know my computer's not happy. I mean, I'm getting encoding overloaded, but it should be fine. Oh, never mind. Play-Doh texture. Can we lock in? Is my computer okay? The answer is no. Wow, OBS is dying. Oh, are we okay? I think we're okay now? Okay. I think we're okay. I think I remember what we were doing. Baby. Oh, my camera is decalibrated. One moment. Oh. We were with Oomph. Oomph went somewhere. I'm gonna just pretend I don't. Fuck. Never mind, it saw me. How do I play this game again? Okay. It's been like literally less than a week and my ass is already forgotten. It's okay, as long as I like outmaneuver them, I win. Yeah, come on, fight me. Pussy? You think you're bad? Okay, the lock is broken. So we can probably go around the back, I'd assume. Well, there's my answer. There's a ladder. I don't know what we're specifically looking for in here. I don't like the blood. Oh, we can... I'm just gonna hope Oomph doesn't wake up. Can I lock on? I'm swinging just to make... Okay, they're dead. Okay. Okay, so it's locked and we need a key. No good, it won't budge. Okay. My bad. I feel like I'm gonna go back upstairs in a moment to some funky shit, but I'm gonna just like pretend that that there was nothing, you know? Okay, nothing in there. Nothing in there. Why is this 30 FPS? Key. What? Is that it? Just the two, just them? I feel like I should be able to open the top, no? Oh! I didn't see that. I didn't see anything. I wasn't. Okay. I am silencing my hill. Is this? Oh, it does. I don't know why I would, but... Oh! It's gone. That body is gone. I don't like that. Even though the trust given to the long-standing physicians of the EY family is irresistible... Can I read today? Unshakably strong. When I spoke to the eldest working member of the family at the gathering, I was astonished at their outstanding bounty of knowledge. Oh. So we up to some sketchy shit. I'm gonna get jump scared in a second. Oh! Oh! That's just a little oomph. Oh. Cod Case 9. Oh. I'm gonna just read these, and I'm reading these, and I'm gonna pretend that I didn't read these. What the fuck do you mean? Ugh. Anyway. Okay. Well, coming in here just let something out on the street. Oh. You weren't there a minute ago. You didn't do the animation where I could parry you. Watch this. Oh shit! Never mind, don't watch this. Ignore whatever I said about watch this. Don't watch this. Okay, okay, I need you to lock in, girl. I'm dead. So remember when I said that I was going to lock in? I could not lock in, apparently. Okay, yes. Open. Do I need to get the items in here again? Maybe. Yes. It's looking like the answer is yes. This, pick up this. I know once I walk out. What? Is that it? Are they dead? I think it's dead. I think that's all for this house. Unless the map tells me otherwise. Yeah, there's something strange about the box. There's like definitely something strange about this box. And like, there's obviously whatever the fuck going on in there. But I don't think there's anything we can do. Oh, we can't just... Really, we can't unlock the door? Okay, back up from the top, I guess. I think we've unfortunately, let some spooky shit out on the street. But, oopsie. It should be fine, right? Like, what's the worst that happens? Yeah, okay. Let's continue going down the left, I think, for a little. I don't know which is the correct way to go, but... Yeah, that's oomph over there. Don't worry about oomph over there. Nothing in here. Is there anything in here? Is this a little... Okay, bandage. I will take a bandage. I do know my inventory is unfortunately getting full, though. If I remember from last time. We going out back for this one? No, there's a thing here. Okay. But yeah, we just... We're vibing for now, I think. I am a little tired today. But... Oh. Shrine is up here. Okay. Maybe this isn't the way I want to go. But, we ball! Okay. I don't know if this is the direction I really want to go, but we ball. I thought I saw something move in the fog. I won't lie. I thought I saw something like above in that dirt. I was like, oh, that's a big motherfucker. No, that's just a rock. Journal updated? Oh, the shrine. Oh. Let's going for it. Oh. Okay, can we? I assume we just. Yeah, we can't just go through. Divine water. Okay, cool. More offerings. Yeah, I do feel a little sleepy. So I do feel kind of bad if like my brain seems like I'm all over the place. I am. But I did kind of want to play Silent Hill. I still want to play more Atelier, I won't lie. I still want to play more. Head to Rinko's house. Wow, we've been all over the place. Dear God. Oh. Hi. Hey, Oomph. Oh, my back. Uh-oh. Oh, and now Oomph is gone. This way. I want to go back now since I heard the noise. Why is my camera now not locking in? VTube Studio, please? Eh? Hello? No? Nothing? Why is VTube Studio being funky? One moment. Huh? Okay, strange. Oh, I'm stuck. Just a little. Okay. I thought there might have been something else here. Again, since we heard the funky sound, but I guess not. We keep going forward. We should move. Not what I meant to do. We should move. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I'm a lot more tired than I kind of thought I was, which is a little unfortunate. But I want to play video game. I want to play game. I want to stream game. Oof. I'm trying not to like yawn over and over. Because I know... I know it'll make me like more tired if I just keep yawning. So like I'm trying not to. But... Yeah. Oh, I hear Spooky. Hey, Okay, it's on me. Oh, her tit's out. Okay, we got it. Nothing to worry about. I don't know why my brain goes between like... What the fuck is that? What the fuck is over there? Okay, this is a dead end. Okay. What the fuck was that? That was a legitimate what the fuck. Do they mind? I keep getting encoding overloaded. I'm not sure why. Okay, you're just a regular motherfucker. Let me... Let me shut down some stuff. Shaders, medium. Visuals, medium. Sure. And then we'll go back to balanced, I guess. Hopefully that should help. Oh. Yeah. Bring it on. Get fucking parried. Okay. That should maybe help a little. I do think the DLSS is a little too low, but hopefully if it means that the encoding overloading, it's not stopping. Okay. Maybe I need to disable the, oh, what's it called? The enhanced broadcasting on Twitch for when I play this game and just stream in just 1080p. Because I don't... Do you mind? I just fought a guy. Because I think there's too much... What? Oh, motherfucker. There's two now. Do it, bitch. I pressed the button. No. Okay, that one's one dead. Gaming, I'm trying, Hime. My computer's not cooperating. I keep thinking I'm reading the animations right, but I'm not. What? Fuck. I thought it was gonna push me forward. No! Girl, eat those pills. It's dead. Okay. My computer keeps yelling at me, telling me my encoding is overloaded. My encoding is overloaded. My encoding is overloaded. I'm like, I get it. There's nothing I can do. It does not want me to lock the fuck in. Like, the game is running fine. But, like, OBS is like, ooh, encoding overloaded. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfucker, there's two. Nope. Regen stamina. Get parried. Okay. Come fight me, bitch. Come fight me, pussy. Fight me, pussy. Okay. It doesn't want to. Until I run over here and then it's gonna jump up. Come on, fight me! Fight me, pussy! Oh fuck, my thing's about to break. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow, lovely blade. I appreciate it. Yeah. Okay, I haven't been done this way yet. That loops there. Hi, Koji. Where am I going? This way, which then leads to the car. Remember, there is nothing down here. There's pretty much nothing here. Okay, I was right. I'm still really tired. I need to stop like playing games when I'm really, really fucking tired. But I also like, I keep like not being able to sleep right the last few days. It's been getting a little frustrating. Like my voice also feels all over the place and it's kind of annoying. Oh. I feel like my brain is just like on. Oh, I no longer recognize my husband. Oh, okay. I have another one growing inside me. Life is too hard to keep living, but I'm forbidden to die. Damn. Oh. Oh, hell no. What was that? Hello? Hello? Are you... Oh, okay. You're just regular. I was gonna say, is it oomph-shaped? Which, I guess... That is oomph-shaped. That is indeed oomph-shaped. Wait, where did you come from? The roof? No. I don't... Okay, we're heading down then. The fog! Oh. That's true. That is indeed true, the fog. They've been, like, appearing out of the farmland, too. So, like, I'm not surprised anymore. Chocolate! A new imported candy. Motherfucker. Do I need to heal? Oh, I should have repaired my... Fuck. We'll just consume this. Motherfucker. That's my fault. I should have used the toolkit to repair my weapon before it broke. I didn't realize my inventory was getting really, really full. Motherfucker. Wait, this area is locked off too. Red capsules. Eh? Eh? Where are we going then? I guess we're going back this way. Let's sacrifice some of our things to the shrine. Or brain. Give offerings. Ancient calm. Chocolate do max sanity. Two of them. That. I think that makes the most sense right now. Let's go gambling. That's not bad. Mantis? Like grasshopper? Like comet? Sorry. Hey, what's up, Boom? Yeah, I keep getting encoding overloaded for some reason. I'm not sure why. My FPS in game is fine. Hey, look, the dynamic lighting. Ooh. But for some reason, I just keep getting encoding overloaded. I'm like, oh. My bad. Eh? Another dead end. Eh? Where am I going? Oh, did I just not go up one path? I specifically avoided one path? Eh. My bad. Okay. Oh? What the hell going on down there? Why is there something orange? Eh? the hell is that? Oh, it's just a post box. Oh. I was so confused. I was like, why is there just a glowing orange thing in the fog? Oh, it's the post box. Okay. I guess I just missed one pathway. Which I guess was the one pathway I needed to go. So, oops. I swear it wasn't on purpose. Yoink. I can't believe I avoided the one singular pathway. Oh, I'm so eepy. I feel bad being fucking eepy while streaming. Okay, so straight forward and then to my next right. Okay. This is really the one way I like just didn't go. I guess we'll go down this pathway then. Maybe there's something down here I missed. Okay, let's fight this motherfucker first. No. Don't tell me I'm getting grabbed by an enemy when I haven't fucking seen it happen. Being grabbed by an enemy, your sanity will... Okay. Hello? Let me close it. I don't like this. Can you die? Oh god! Oh no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Oh god, that's freaky. I think it's fucked up, but understandable that I don't get anything from killing them. Like, they are just in my way out of spite. It's kind of fucking scary, I can't lie. I don't like these sounds. Okay, that's a dead end. There's nothing in here. Oh, I can push this. Wait, hold up. Hold up, hold up, hold up. School paper. Lore. World building. Okay, down this pathway. I don't... I'm not a big fan of the red flowers. Two. And then another heavy. Oh, I think it's supposed to be 3 and I did 2. It's okay, we can repair it soon. I'm hearing sounds. I don't like these sounds. Am I allowed to say that I don't like the creepy flesh making sounds? Oh, okay! Oh! Oh, right, motherfucker. Oh! Okay, so I want to repair that. Okay, never mind. Oh my fucking god. Okay, I was not actually expecting that at all. don't like these sounds. The flesh eating sounds. God, now I'm afraid of like every corner. Yeah, I kind of don't want to. I kind of don't want to touch it, like, at all. I'm gonna be so for real with you here, dude. Another steel pipe. Let's eat some painkillers because our sanity's a little low too. Still a kit. Needs a key. I don't know if I want to go in there. I'm hearing sounds. I'm hearing sounds and I don't like that. Hmm? Okay. Oh, the flesh mound is moving. Oh. Oh! What the fuck are you? That is true. That is big. That is big monster. Hey, buddy. Hi. Hi, buddy. Want to swing at me? Oh, you want me so bad. Ooh. You want me? Oh. Oh, shit. Can I get this in time? No! Okay, okay, okay. Hinako? Hinako? We gotta run. Why? Why are you... No? No! I'm dead. Oh, motherfucker. 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 Oh, okay. Toolkit. Fuck. Where did the fucking bat go? There it is. Okay. Motherfucker. And I have to collect it every time going into this phase. Oh! I fucked up the dodge. And I have to collect all these items every time I... You know what? No, I don't think I need to. I think I'm okay. Is there anything I can get in here that might be useful before I start this fight? Bandage. That's it. Okay. Fuck. I don't think there's any reason to swing at it. Yeah. There's no reason to swing at it. Hinako? 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 Hiya! Welcome in. Dekai Bakemono. Dekai Bakemono. Very large monster. I know I also have this motherfucker to deal with. Dekai Bake... That's fucked. Get perfect parried. I missed. Oh no. It's so over for me. Hey, big buddy. Hey, big guy. Hey, big guy. Oh, you want to swing at me. You want to waste your turn. Whatever. That counts. Okay, never mind. If I did that any longer, I'm dead. Hey, boy. Hey, big boy. Chat, am I allowed to be afraid? Am I allowed to be a little bitch? Oh, alright. Yes? Yes? Are you sure? Come on, buddy. Hey, I need you to... Oh, you're gonna swing your weapon. Oh! Hinako, 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 Hinako. Lock in, lock in. No! You're such a little bitch. You're such a little bitch. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. I need you to come over here. I need you. I need you over here. I need you over here. Okay, that works. That works. That works. That works. That works. That works. Okay. 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 So, bro, this isn't a fucking Mario game. This isn't a fucking Mario game. I don't need to go 3 times. I don't need to go 3 times. This isn't a fucking Nintendo game. We do not need the rule of 3 here. Okay. Goodbye. Goodbye, motherfucker. Good. No, 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 no. I'm okay. No, I'm okay. I am going in. Bye-bye, oomph. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, oomph. Yep, yep, yep. Bye-bye, oomph. There was probably an item in there I could have gotten. But no, I'm okay. Oh my god, I didn't go back and get the other items. I left the fucking other metal bar on the... I left important items behind. Oh, motherfucker. Ugly motherfucker. Well, Moment Shoe, I want to go in the opposite direction. Ooh. Ooh. It's so nasty. Listen, if a game tells me I should go in the right direction, I'm probably going to go in the wrong direction at least once and to see. Like, look. If I didn't go in the wrong direction, would I have gotten this Inari sushi? Hmm? Hmm? Oh, I'm so fucking pissed. That ugly motherfucker. Ugly motherfucker. Okay, let's see. Oh wait, that increased my restores current max sanity. Sanity. I think I can use that right now. I think my sanity is still pretty low. Yes. This. Huh? Equipment. Items. Consume. Consume the chocolate. I'm hungry. Did not give me as much as I thought. Real? I'm glad you understand. Let me go in the wrong direction. If they didn't want me to go in the wrong direction, they wouldn't have made it a path. I say as I like casually ignore Oomph just standing over there. Oomph is gone. Where? Okay, Oomph is still there. Never mind. I was like, uh-oh. Oomph is gone. Maybe I should have went over to Oomph. Oh, Emma. Oh. I have a skill tree? Oh. Higashi. Do I have a fucking skill tree? Have I not been paying attention to the fact that I have a skill tree? Oh, okay. Was not expecting that, but that's fine. Skill trees are fake. I could probably raw dog the game and get, but I feel like I at some point I'm probably going to get one shot by an enemy. Hi, Shia. That's Oomph. Bro, now is not the time. That's Oomph right there. Dude, there's literally a bridge. Why did you walk? Why did you jump? Like, bro, kind of just jumped to Aura Farm. I keep yawning. I said I didn't want to keep yawning, but here I am. Yeah, that's true. However, Silent Hill, the fog. The fog is so thick. Yeah, the fog is coming. Oomp's gone. Is he even real? Oh. Oh. Oh, I don't like this. Oh. Oh, I don't like this one bit. Oh, motherfucker. Feels always misty and always really scary. When there was a scarecrow. Oh. Oh. No. That's not the right way. Got it. Oh my god, did it reset me? I thought it said avoid the scarecrows, no? Huh? Huh? So like... No. Oh, fuck no. Oh, fuck no. No, 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 no. Fuck, it's not that way either. No, you're not allowed to move. No. No, 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 no. I will fight you. I will swing. I'll do it. Stop. Where the fuck am I supposed to go? Where the fuck am I supposed to go? Okay, oh. Was I actually just supposed to... Eh? Eh? Oh, fuck! Okay. Fight me, pussy. Ooh, you want me so bad. Oh! Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, ugly motherfucker. Oh, ugly motherfucker. Hi. Hi, chat. Hi, Stars chat. Hi, Stars chat. Thank you for the raid. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Ugly motherfucker. Ugly motherfucker. Hi, chat. I will shut you in a moment. Nope. Fuck. Sorry. So they move if you don't look at, or when you're not looking at them. I love Doctor Who. Can the bot lock in? I'm doing this like as if I don't know what you were playing. But yeah, Starry was playing Silent Hill 2, so thank you. Thank you anyone who's coming over from Star's stream. We're playing the new Silent Hill F. For these ugly motherfuckers. Oh, this one scarecrow that's not really scary. That's because it's making a scary face because it's got a thorn sticking in it because it's got hurt. All you have to do is take out the thorn and you'll see which one. Yeah. Sickle. So... Oh, they're so ugly. Oh! Okay. Hi! Yeah, welcome in, Stars chat. I understand if you need to dip out or anything. One, for spoiler reasons. And also to get any rest. But thank you for stopping by and thank you for the raid! Oh my god. Dark Souls is not on my side today. Okay, let us... Oh, we don't have any fucking repair tools. So yeah, one of these motherfuckers will move. It's making a scary face, but it has a thorn in its side. Not you. You're making a scary face, but it's not on your side. You're making less of a scary face, but that's in your chest. Okay. That's in your chest. That's in your chest. Wait, am I missing something? There is only them, right? Right! Yes. Huh? Making a scary face. Like, the closest one to, like, having a thorn in their side is this one. But that's the one that I pulled out of a second ago, and the game was like, nuh-uh. Yep, see? Nuh-uh. Getting lost. Yeah, okay. Alright, man. They're bullying me now. Let me reread that. Am I... One scary scroll that's not really scary. The only reason it's making a scary face because it got a thorn sticking into it. Oh, just sticking into it. All you have to do is take out the thorn and it'll tell you which way to go. But don't get too close to the really scary ones. Someone said there's a monster who only likes pretend. Okay. So I know it's not you. I know it's not you. Maybe this one? It's okay. I don't like this. Are you oomph? You're oomph. Thanks, oomph. Thank you, oomph. I mean, I knew I was going the right way. This is where I went earlier, but the fog just kept pulling me back regardless. See, look, it's pulling me back. Unless it's actually going to push me forward? No, because that's the scarecrow again. Oh. Oh. Great. Oh. Oh. I think I understand the gimmick. Are the scarecrows back? No? Eh? Oh. Can you imagine how I feel, what it's like to be deceived by you for so long? Motherfucker. Chat, this is fucked up. It's not you. It's not you. Is it maybe you? I'm so smart. That's what I said to you when I saw you so scared. No. Don't point at me like that. No, I'm okay. Hime, I don't like this game. Hey, you moved. I'm pretty sure you moved. What? Eh? Eh? Am I not going the right direction? I am going the right direction, no? I'm gonna go to this one. Go to this one. Isn't there one over... Huh? Eh? Eh? I what? This game's mean to me. Oh. Oh, no, you don't do that. No. No, I'm okay. No. You can... You can keep it. You... No, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. You can stay over there. Oh, motherfucker, there's another one. Can you even imagine how I feel? He never looked at me once the way he looked at you. Not once. It's you. It's you! It's you! I wonder why I called you over. Damn, I'm going 3 for 3 right now. Okay. No! Stop! 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 I didn't sign up for Doctor Who. No, 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 no. Fuck. 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 Am I going this way? Oh, not another Zen. Can you imagine how I feel? You've always been such an eyesore. It's gotta be you, right? Nope. That's not shaped. That's the wrong one. She's right behind. No, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that. I'll cry. Don't say that. I'll cry. Don't say that. I'll cry. I missed. This me. Hi, Tensei. Thank you for the head pat. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I did not go 3 for 3. This one. Motherfucker! No. Shit. Fuck. You parried. You parried, loser. Oh, fuck off. I didn't even get a chance to do anything when you started swinging at me. The game knew I was getting it wrong. Okay, then it has to be you. Okay, thank God. Oh, I could have just lied to you. Told you which anyway. That's rude to say. Ooh. Chat, this game is fucked up. This game. So what's wrong with these girls? Mental illness. Oh my God, there's more. Can you imagine how I feel? You hurt me, and I even hurt him too. Do you know how it feels to force a smile when I'm staring at that disgusting face of yours? Oh, they just like you for real, for real? Thanks. You. Motherfucker. Okay. I am really running out of HP here. Fuck. Stop. Stop. I hear one of these fuckers moving. Stop. Stop moving. No. Stop. No. No, 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 no. No. No, 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 no. Please! I have to use the first aid kit. Oh my God. Who is it? Okay, it's not you. So who the fuck? Oh God, I am running low on durability. Please don't tell me I need to restart this entire section. Please don't tell me I need to restart this entire section. Yeah, F in the char. I didn't even get a chance to react. I didn't even get a chance to react on that one. Motherfucker. Is it you? No. I won't even lie, I was just spamming dodge just in case. Is it you? No, I already did this one, and this one attacked me. It's gonna be so bad when I run out of weapons in a minute. Because I keep getting the wrong one. Okay. My bad. No. I'm keeping it on hard. This is just me being stupid. I'm getting the puzzle wrong. I'm just getting the puzzle wrong. So it's not you. It's not you. It has to be this one then. What? Is it really one of the shoes this time? If so, that's fucked. There's no way it's one of the shoes. I've tried that one. I've tried that one. I've tried... Did I try this one? I'm pretty sure I tried this one, but if this is... Okay. I'm gonna just start activating these, man. Listen, this is just out of dumb curiosity at this point. Okay. Is it one of the shoes this time? I feel so confused. Alright, shoe. How's it be? Not you, apparently. What happened to my camera? I feel so confused. Yeah, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not... I feel so confused. Am I stupid? He may watching my stream in frustration, being like, she doesn't understand. Can you even imagine how I feel? Ugh. Because, like, all of them have a pained face. I've tried... It's gotta be fucking this shoe. There's no way, right? There's no way. That's... Oh. What's the hint? Oh. Can you even imagine how I feel what it's like to be be deceived by you for so long? I think was the one? Or was it, I guess, the bottom one, which should be... Can you imagine how I feel? I even hurt him too? How it feels to yeah. I've tried the ones with the creepy ass smiles, which I thought would be the right answer, but I feel like I've tried everything. I feel like I've tried every one of them. I feel like I've tried every one of them. I feel so confused. I feel so lost. Like, you don't have a smile, so okay. You don't. You don't. You do, but it's not you. You don't. You don't. I know it's not that one. Not that one. Like, the only one that I feel like makes sense is this. But it... Oh, motherfucker. Okay, you have a trip. Okay, this shoe got hands, apparently. I feel just a little stupid. I feel just a tiny little bit stupid right now. You know, out of dumb curiosity. Yeah, can you imagine how I feel? The forces. Now the game's fucking with me. Clearly, I just like walk forward and there's like another one up here. Right? Like the game is just fucking with me. For a second, I thought I was right because I saw the other one, but I think that's for the next area. It's not you. It's not you. Like, the only one I feel like makes sense is this one. Either. I swear I did this one like I swear I did this one. I swear. Uh-huh. Oh, okay, she's waiting for me. My bad. No, my bad, I guess. I feel just a little confused. Just a little. But maybe I'm just a little stupid. Oh? Bro, they fucking hate her. It's so fucked. She can barely walk. I want to play in the dark, but my tracking doesn't work. It's still so fucked. She's just like, I guess I'm standing here. I guess. Oh, that fucking doll. That fuck. I see you, motherfucker. She's so real for that, though. Yeah, the fog. The fog holds us in. The fog. The fog is coming. You can see the birds from here? Through the fog? Oh. Oh.
東の鉄橋がダメなら西の県道を目指そう。
柊の家の裏山を抜けるのか？あの山越えられるの？
No, but we will.
リンコ、念のため薬や絆創膏を持っていきたい。
台所に救急箱あるよ。取ってくるね。あ、私も一緒に行こう。手伝う。
相棒が一緒なら安心だ。
She was kind of the goat, but also a fucking loser.
台所どこだっけ?
Okay. Girl? Girl? Do you mind? Huh? My bad. Nope, we're back here again. What's up, Oomph? Oomph, where are you? Oomph, I need to tell you, Twitter's thirsting over you, apparently. Where are you, Oomph? No? No Oomph right now? Alright, my bad. Okay, nothing behind me. I need to tell Oomph how Twitter feels about him. Where Oomph at? Oh. That Oomph down there? Yeah, there he is. That's Oomph. Okay, nothing here. Strange. Okay. Interesting. Oh. Sorry, I thought I saw something to my left. Don't like that sound. Don't like it. Don't like it. I'm gonna keep running. Nope. Nope. Not my problem. That one is, though. Can I break this? No. Okay. Another Emma. I don't like this. I don't like this. Hi. Can't open it. Hi, Diggy. Welcome. Oh, like that. Nope. Not a big fan. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfucker. I'm hearing sounds that I think are definitely not me. Thank you for the head pat. I'm just a little afraid. Not that afraid. Can't use any of this. Storage room key. Just a little right now. Not a lot. Oh, you can really have it in faith to pray. You can also... Oh. Pray. Oh. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfucker. That's how that works. Gonna be lurking because I have some paperwork to get done. Don't worry. I'm trying my hardest to stay awake. I am really, really tired. But I do want to play Silent Hill. Fuck. Okay. I spent too much money gambling. Which might have fucked me over. No. Yokon? Is that key maybe for the area back where we just were? This game fucking sucks. No? Okay. Okay. I always catch the EP. But to be fair, it is kind of my fault for like streaming at like 3 a.m. But my sleep schedule has also been kind of fucked for the last few days, so I haven't really been sleeping well. I don't like that sound. Investigate the strange object. I would prefer not to. I think I'm missing something. I could have assumed you need sleep. Yeah. But I've been like just sleeping like shit, unfortunately, which has been a little frustrating. Is this open now? No. Okay. Okay, can I go back down this way now? No. Okay. Although my sleep has just been kind of bad. It's a little unfortunate. Okay, I need to find the symbol for that one. There, I guess it's like the problem of like I usually am fine and like I know I could stay awake for like another few hours. But I have the problem of my brain is like, how the fuck do you be entertaining when you're like feeling like you're barely existing? Oh, hi, Umph. Don't believe the fox's words. Stay away from the western room. No, I don't think so. What the fuck am I reading? I find thinking of all the cute girls who would be mad at me for not sleeping helps personally. Oh. Lips. Ooh. Every last blood. Ooh. Ooh. Creepy motherfucker. Creepy motherfucker. Creepy motherfucker. Oh, I feel like. No. I feel like my brain just like. I definitely overthink more when I'm tired. But. Oh, what the fuck happened here? I wonder what that. I don't think I want to read this one either. No, I don't think I want to read this one either. I think I'm okay. Mm. No, I'm okay. I can't tell if this is some like overly horny shit or like something arguably worse. Motherfucker, 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 motherfucker. Motherfucker, 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 motherfucker. There's some creepy motherfuckers. Wait, is this where it came from? No. No? I was gonna say, this is where it came from. Okay. I should probably check if there's a way to do a quick turn in this game. Oh, okay. Let's keep going this way. Oh, fuck. I keep yawning. Motherfucker, motherfucker, motherfucker. I don't like these sounds. Wait, wasn't this where I already was? Yeah, I was. Because here is this door, which is locked. Am I going in circles? Kind of. I'm missing something. But there's a door down here it says I can open. Which I'm pretty sure is this door. No. Oh, it is open now. Dude, I've unfortunately been yawning. What the fuck? I've been yawning so much for like the last hour. But I'm like trying my hardest. I just don't look. If I just don't look? Oh. Don't trust him. See, you keep telling me not to trust him, but like... everyone on Twitter seems to be horny for him. You know, like the Twitter thing is like... if evil, why hot or something. You know? So... I like these sounds. I'm pretty sure he's still evil. I don't think he's hot, but Twitter does. So that means he can't be evil, right? That's how it works, right? Wait, am I going the right way? Yeah. I'm not liking these sounds. Okay. Oh. Oh, hi, motherfucker, hi. Okay. Hey, Nicole, let's go. Let's go. Pole arm, pole arm, pole arm. Fuck. Fuck, I'm out of stamina. I know. Motherfucker. Okay. The fire's gone out. That's not fun. You're telling me I have no lights now? It's crazy how much of the details I missed by listening instead of watching. Don't worry. Do I have... okay, I have a first aid kit. It's okay, you get the... you get the common idea of me saying scary motherfucker, scary motherfucker. Oh fuck, okay, we're over here now. Sorry. I feel like my streams as an audio experience is so terrible because it's either me like locking the fuck in or like I am yelling about something that is happening. this one. And then let's pray to increase my health. I think I need more HP.
やっと着いた。
So it told me not to go to the western room. So I'm curious.
こっちだよ。サクコ。
Okay, maybe I don't. Maybe maybe I don't go to the western room. Hey, what's up with the door?
開かない。
Fuck, it's another one of them cute things. Oh, I have to go to the western room. Oh, it's so fucked. I feel like it's either me going, what the fuck, or I'm screaming. Well, screaming as much as I can. Oh, as much as I can scream.
くそ。
This is a whole different fucking gameplay experience having this weapon, I can't lie. It's okay, I feel like there's like so much in this game that... Oh, they respawn, motherfuckers respawn. Okay, anything? Have you got anything for me? Hawk, okay. Cool. Yeah, see that body's still there. It's gonna respawn, I think. Oh, you were above. Okay. Ugly ass motherfucker. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. It's not fine. It's fucking far from fine, chat. Bring it on, ugly. Fuck. Okay, I have to go in. I feel like there's just so much ongoing in this game that I feel like even if you play the game multiple times, you still probably got no idea what the fuck's going on.
こんなところに。
But I also feel like that's just like the general writing of like, oh, of the guy. I forgot his name right now. Like I feel like that's also the case with like Umineko and stuff, and Higurashi, where it's like, even if you play the game multiple times, I feel like you might not even have an idea what the fuck's going on. So two ways about it. The family is indeed cursed. None of seems to know the full story. Oh, motherfuckers. Okay, this isn't actually a maze. Okay. Succumb to us. No, I'm okay. Symptoms of onset. Headache, fever, vertigo, chills, vomiting, diarrhea. The first epilepsy signs point to a seasonal cold. However, prescribing medicine symptoms did not improve. In fact, they worsened. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't know. No, I'm okay. No, you can keep it. You can keep that one. You can keep that one. What the fuck, at the other side of the wall just respawned? I have conflicting feelings about this game's story. I feel like that makes sense. Fuck, okay. Through.
サクコ。
Don't like these sounds.
サクコなの。
Do not like
どこ。
these sounds. I do find it interesting. Oh god, sorry, I keep looking at every corner after getting jump scared once. I find it interesting that you do need to do multiple playthroughs to get like the full story, but I'm not against it. Especially considering the New Game Plus, from what I heard, is pretty much like kind of like how like the Nier series does it. Like the ideas and topics, like they're interesting to explore and think about. Hey, carcass.
でもお供え物だったよね。
This should be an offering, but I could eat it. I just realized. Sorry, there's an enemy out there, I'm pretty sure. Did I ever lock my game back to 60? No, I did not. What's up, ugly? You didn't see me? Ooh. Fuck. Yeah, I play Souls games. I know what I'm doing. Ignore me dying way too much earlier, but I know what I'm doing. Oh, I just got blinded by my controller. Clank, 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 clank. Fuck you. Oh. Okay, okay. I'm so low on HP. I feel like it's too blatant in places like it lacks the subtlety, and yeah. I have been feeling that for some like the story beats where I'm like, where I'm like, I feel like I can already tell what the fuck happening, but I don't think it's a bad thing in some places. Some places so far it doesn't feel like it's a bad thing, but girl, my bad. The fog has been coming for me. Like, I don't want to alarm you, but the fog has been coming for me. I can't come over to you when the fog is coming. Alright, that one's not even my fault. That one's not even my fault, man. Oh, how far back is it putting me? Okay, that's fine, I guess. There was nothing really in here. There was the carcass and the oomph that walked out.
お供え物だったよね。
And then one more hit? Two. Okay. That's fine. How do I, like... Okay, I guess that works. I was like, how do you bait out them guys? Oh! You ugly motherfucker! You! Fight me! Fight me! Fight me, pussy! You know what? My bad, I guess. Right, this bad thing happened, and then this terrible thing happened. Yeah. I feel like that's some games though. Like it is. There's some sense of like it's hard to write something when like it is exponentially getting worse. Like yes, oh no, worst thing happened. But it depends on like the general like I guess theming and like how they go about saying like, hey, this oh shit. This bad thing happened. Okay, my bad. Oh fuck, I'm dead, aren't I? I already fucked up. Yeah, I fucked up. Reminds me of a series of oh. I was unfortunately forced to read that for school. It was kind of fucked. Actually kind of fucked that I was forced to read that. Yum, yum, yum. I already saw. Okay. Time to eat some painkillers. Where it's just one terrible thing after a terrible thing that makes all the previous... Yeah. I feel like that is just a part of Silent Hill, though. No? Hello? Thank you. In my opinion, it's all interpretation. I don't think any of the endings are necessarily a good or a bad ending. I think the endings are mostly a metaphor. Or the events painted through. Yeah. Gotcha, bitch. Yeah, I play Souls games. Yeah, I can parry. Fight me. Come fight me, pussy. I do think that's the one thing though, Hime, that I do like the most. Is that a lot of it is very much told through like Hinako's emotions. And like just like how she's feeling. Which I do kind of fuck with. Ooh, ugly motherfucker. Fight me, pussy. You know, I've hit a point where I'm getting annoyed at these motherfuckers. I'm just like saying, fucking fight me already. Fuck. A good job of being an emotional roller coaster, am I, Emma? Like, I do think at least, like, in the terms of, like, how Hinako feels in the time and, like, everything, like, ongoing, it's been really nice so far. Oh. I don't think I really have anything other than this carcass. 200 faith, which isn't really enough to do anything, motherfucker. I guess I should save really quickly. The whole not quite unreliable, but for sure biased narrator is pretty good. I think so. It's a little bit of a series staple. Chat, the voices are coming for me. I know that's something Ak mentioned, but I've heard different takes on that. I know at least for 2, 3, and 1, I think a little bit of 4 it's the case. Where like, in 2 obviously James... Stone Orb. In 2 like James like is also kind of all over the place. Same in 1. I feel like honestly, the only like other game I can really think of that's like unreliable but biased narrator would be like Deadly Premonition, honestly. I think that's the one game I think that stands out to me with like that type of theming. Can you not? Can you stop being ugly? Oh, this is a boss fight, isn't it? Oh, motherfucker. Okay. Do I remember my pathway back? Okay, that's locked. Oh, the pathway changed. Give me the tea. Sakako, can you not? Oh, motherfucker. Let me through! And the first two were purposely... Yes. I do remember that at least. Give me the item. I want the item. Am I going the right way? Oh god, the pathway has changed, hasn't it? Oh, and I'm out of painkillers. Oh, my sanity's fucked, aren't I? Does the Romani get my sanity up? Okay. I'm close, right? Yes. Am I... There's no way I'm fitting the stone orb in its mouth. Am I? I guess so. I guess so, apparently. Where's my water? My water. I need to hydrate. Oh. Well, the streamers complain about the repetitive of the content. So far, I have been fine with the combat. I think the only problem... Oh, this is going to be a boss fight. Oh, motherfucker, this is going to be a boss fight. The only problem I really have is I wish there was a little more weapon variety so far. But it's also understandable. Sorry, my bottle is in the way. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfucker. Yeah, the combat's been pretty fun so far. I'm also playing on hard because, I'm stupid. But... Like 90% of the time, if I've been dying, it's a skill issue. In most cases. Oh. Oh. No, why are you moldy? No, why are you moldy? Oh, wait, can I have that weapon? Can I have your weapon? Can I have your... Oh. Oh. My bad. Okay. Yeah, maybe I should have healed before like I actually walked out into this fight. Maybe I should have healed. Oh no. Oh, I fucked up, didn't I? There's gonna be a lot of deaths here, isn't there? Okay. Okay. I can't. I'm assuming I can't parry this. Okay. I meant like the other parry, but that works. You swing backwards. This. Give me a second. No. I forgot you swing it back. When are we getting Hime playing a Souls game again? Nope, I'm out of range. Haha, you tried. You thought. Nope, I thought I was... PayPal me 9,000 US dollars. I don't have 9,000 US dollars. I do have Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 1 in the Steam family. You don't need to buy them. First aid. Oh, motherfucker. Okay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, no, no. Oh, fuck. I don't have any items for sanity. Unless this is sanity? Okay, I got it. Bloodborne's good. Yeah, I do like Bloodborne. My only problem with Bloodborne is, you know, it's I mean, it's infamously known for its like shit frame rate. Okay, can you let me regen? Like, can you let me regen? I missed. Nope. Okay, that's honestly, you know what, my bad, I guess. Dodge this? I did, bitch. sorry. Am I out of healing? I am. Fuck, that was a parryable. I need to play more Sekiro. I think I've only played like the first 2 hours-ish of Sekiro. Okay, oops. Damn it, she's so tanky though. This. Okay, into this. Into this. Damn, I fucked up. Oh, my bad. Oh, I healed. I thought that was the end. I fucked up the parry. Okay, this isn't actually that frustrating because I know a lot of these are all my fault. Alright, I did this. This won't hit. Okay, that one I forgot was a rotate. Okay. One moment. I am pulling my hair all the way back. It was in my face, and now I'm getting tilted now. I got stun locked on that one. Bring it on, motherfucker. Bring it on, sucker. And then that. I fucked it. Fuck! I've only seen... The only boss fight I've seen anyone get actually mad on was Hime in New Game Plus. Ooh. Like, this boss is pretty fair. I'm a little low in resources, if I'm being honest. But... other than being low on No, it was the wrong thing. Other than being low on resources, I think this is doable. That was the parryable one. Yeah, I did. I dodged it. Damn. But best of it had no healing items, like 30 sanity items in hard mode. Yeah. I can't do anything about that one. Okay. Yeah, I am technically on hard mode right now, which is a little bad in my case. But that was a parry. Okay, my bad. Fuck, wrong thing. I did that too early. All right. It's the throwing attack, I think, that's fucking me the most. Yeah, bring it on. Me wanna like bring it on, and then I proceed to like eat shit. It does feel a little long so far, but I think it's just because like I'm spending so long. That's the parry one. Damn. Okay, let me heal. Damn, I fucked it. I got this. I won't go back. I won't switch difficulty. I got this. Okay, pull back. Heal. Should be out of range for any of the ranged attacks. Me and who? Sorry. Sorry. Got it. Okay. Wrong one. Fuck. Heal. Okay. I pressed parry. Okay. Not the healing I meant to do, but that works. 1, 2. Dodge off. 1, 2. 1. Fuck. I thought I had enough time to do that. Okay. Wait, I lived? Wait, I lived that? I fucked that. Yep, that's my bad. Okay. I should probably just be using focus mode on them ones just to make sure I get the parry. I think I should be using focus mode just to make sure I get the parry off. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, okay, okay. Locking in, I swear. Locking in, she says. Locking in. Immediately. Fucked. There we go. Okay. Let's heal. Double checked, it was 5 minutes. Oh. Okay. My bad. She's fucking with me. And I don't mean it in the good way. Sound effects. This side. You think she fuck with me? Maybe. Honestly, maybe. Is that a bandage? Wait. Unlock. No. Give me that bandage. Hold up. Yeah. Give me that fucking bandage. Okay. Oh shit. I just barely Okay, hold up. I'm locking in right now, kind of. Fuck. Yeah, that's fine. You can do that. Okay. I kind of thought I wasn't dodging that one, I won't lie. Okay, my bad. Am I out of healing? No, I still have the big heal. Was not the planned attack there. No! I was out of stamina. No! No! Fuck! I'm pretty sure I was close there too. Fuck! I'm pretty sure I was close. That's why I'm more upset. Fuck! Okay. I got this. It's okay. You guys can flame me for being bad at video games. Motherfucker. Yeah, you guys can. It's okay. You can blame me for being bad at video games and spending way too long on this boss fight. Like, I know part of this is me being stubborn and, like, playing on hard mode. But, like... And then that. Did that. Did the animation. Okay, then I do this. Particularly the beginning. Yeah. The first few, like, swinging blade ones at the start definitely are fucking me. Okay, I'm pulling off. Fight me. Okay. Okay, huge, 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 huge. Huge second phase. I do like that they use the audio for this action. Okay, give me the bandage. Oh, she's just right here. What? I'm a big fan of it. Okay, she's gonna start swinging, so I need to regain my stamina. Okay, double dodge just to be safe. I'm actually going... Okay, now I'm going to use the bandage. Oh, I'm not gonna make it in time, am I? Yeah, okay, that just kills my sanity. That's fine. What? I didn't... Okay. Oh. Okay. 1, 2, and then I can pull back. One, two, heavy swing. Pull back. Fuck, okay, that's a parryable. That's a new one. That's a new attack. Okay, I'm definitely in a fucking new phase then. Fuck! Okay. Okay. Oh, I feel like I'm getting close. I feel like I'm getting really close. I'm dead. Wrong one. Oh, motherfucker. Okay. Fuck. That's what I get for being cocky, I guess. I should maybe explore the arena. Maybe there might be more... If there's a bandage up here, directly here, I feel like there's a chance that there's a bandage somewhere else. If not, an item for sanity. Does she just not care if I run? Nothing. Does Oomph just not care? Okay. Sorry, I already... You're gonna bring up the 500 yen? You're bringing up the 500 yen. Girl, you're bringing up the 500 yen? Okay, it's the other side. 1, 2... Ooh, you wanna fight me? Welcome back. Do not worry. I just full healed on accident, didn't I? Oh. Oh, 4-hit combos are so fucking frustrating when I know I don't have enough dodges for it. Which is the side with the bandage? There it is. Camera. Okay. 3 bandages, 3 things. Okay. I dodged that one, motherfucker. I'm dead. Yeah. Okay. I feel like I'm getting really close. Do you think I'm working too many hours or something? I don't know. Understandable. Okay. Okay. Fight me. Fight me. 1, 2. Sunday Honkai Impact 3rd. I need you to leave me alone. Impact 3rd? Sunday Honkai Star Rail. What are these back-to-backs? I'm gonna have like way too, like, if there's a stat line at the end of this game, it's gonna be like continues 100, and it's all gonna be from like boss fight. Losing my perception of time. No, that's understandable with how this fight's going. Oh, because I already... Okay, that's a little funky. Because I did a heavy attack there during that. It counted to... Okay. 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 My bad. My bad. My bad. So don't use heavy attacks. 1, 2... I keep forgetting that's a 4 combo. Okay. 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 Okay, that's the heavy. 1, 2. I'm out of stamina. I get hit. That's the wrong one. Okay, I'm locked in. Oh, I'm out of stamina. Hey, can you, like, not do anything fancy for, like, a second? Thank you. I was gonna say, that's gonna put her into the next phase, isn't it? Okay, while I'm here, can I grab the bandage? Yeah, you can do your thing. Just let me grab the bandage. Where? My perception for audio is so good. Okay. Pull off. I thought that was gonna be a more fancy attack than that. I won't lie. Wait, there's something there. Wait, what's on the ground? Another bandage. When the fuck did that appear? Wait, when did that other bandage appear? Oh, motherfucker. Fuck, can you not do that? It's okay. I only lost a little bit of sanity. It's not enough to, like, actually hurt me overall, I think. Nope, I want to switch to this because I want to get my sanity back really quickly. That's fine. Yeah, you can do that. I'm so afraid because I don't know how far I am. See, there's another bandage! Magical bandage! Far left. See? Magical bandage! I don't think I actually make it. Oh, I do. Magical bandage. Can I get the second one off this time? I can. Okay, cool. Back left. See, I'm so good. Oh, okay, that's it. Okay. Ugh. 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 Okay. You're gone. Wow, the dynamic lighting looks so good. Sorry, I got the I forgot to mention I got the dynamic lighting dialed in properly. But aren't I not supposed to trust you? Hmm? Hmm? Oh, my glasses. Mm. Do I believe you? Do I want to believe you? Think about it, oomph. That's an ugly dog. Bro, why are your dogs so ugly? What? Oh, he got the slut glove. Sorry. He does, though. He's got the slut glove. She's like, sure, I guess. Yeah, look, he's got the slut glove. Oh. Oh. Like a... That's not water. Thank you, Diggy, for the 5 gifted. Wow, He-Man got sniped in that ant arc? That's surprising. The fuck? Bro, that shit's lava. She can't handle spice? I can't believe it. Thank you, Diggy, for the 5 gifted. No more Valorant. We've been freed from Valorant, luckily. But why are you just staring at me like that? Like as if I'm not suffering. Yeah, I know not to trust him. I wish I fucking couldn't. This is making me sad. See no leaderboard? Fucked up.
ひらこ、おい、しっかりしろ。
ドジだね。あんた階段から落ちたんだよ。
Oh, my fucking sleeve's fucked now. Oh!
腕、どうした？
あれ、引っ掛けて破いちゃったのかな。
Oh, we're starting to get to the fucked up outfit.
特にあざはないみたいだな。痛むところはないか？
うん、大丈夫。それはよかった。
Why is she so evil?
どうした？
Jealous bitch. Retweet, 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 retweet.
時間を無駄にした。
よし、
Encoding overloaded.
行こう。
私をちゃんと守ってよ。私、ひなこみたいに強くないんだから。
分かってる。俺から離れるな。
Bitch. Sorry.
目指すは俺の家だ。裏道から山を越え県道に出よう。俺が先頭を行く。相棒は。
Damn, we look so tough.
私はシュウ君の後ろにいるね。真ん中なら安心だし。
Evil motherfucker. We look so tough.
しんがりは引き受けた。
I can't wait to see our outfit get slowly more fucked up over the game. It's kind of gonna go crazy. As much as I hate Rinko, the girl, yeah. She is. It's fucked. Okay. Okay, so here we go. I caught was on the truck earlier, right? Yes. We're heading to Shu's house. Ah, the map is so big. I actually haven't seen like how fucked up the outfit gets. I think the most I've seen is like the sleeves being removed. Like it goes so fucking hard. It's feeding the hot evil woman stereotype. Fucked. If evil, why hot? Yeah, I still need 500 for that. Get rid of the tea. Get rid of that. Keep that for the sake of health, just in case. And that. Yeah, I keep getting encoding overloaded. So sorry if the stream looks like it's like stuttering or anything. It's because I keep getting encoding overloaded. And I'm pretty sure it's because I'm doing the enhanced broadcasting. Oh, yeah, this is the way. I'm doing the enhanced broadcast option to like stream the other qualities. And just because of like how demanding the game is, it does seem to stutter sometimes. At least in like encoding end, it seems like. Hey, that's oomph.
ひなこ
That's oomph
こっ
and
ちだ
not oomph.
大丈夫か相棒化け物につけられてないか
問題ない。シュウ君っていつまでひな子のこと相棒って呼ぶの？相棒なんて呼び方、小学生の男子みたい。
She's such a hater.
さ俺は相棒を女扱いしてない
そうだな。された覚えもない。
立ち話は終わりだ
She's such a fucking hater. That's true. I actually haven't like checked how like the lower qualities look. All I know is that I got 1080p working, so at least. Huh? Oh, ugly motherfucker. So at least it would look better than usual, even at the lower bit rates. Though I don't know why. Like I'm still conflicted on if I should use the enhanced broadcasting thing, because I don't know if it's just because I stream at like off hours for EU, but I don't think I've ever not had like the Twitch encoding. Like always the like all of the encoding options have always been available no matter what. Where are we going? I want to head up towards here again. Like it's probably because I stream at like off hours, EU, but like I always usually have the like lower quality options even when I'm streaming. But it's like I also understand like the pain of like clicking into someone's stream and it's like 1080p source, and it's like you can't use any of the other qualities, so you're just stuck there suffering. No, okay, it's oh. Wait, there's stuff here. Keep the Satsuko's mailbox. You mustn't speak again about how you hear other words singing. Oh.
サクコンチの
Oh. We were at Rinka's house earlier, so I remember which one was her house? I think I do. Yeah, like the pain of like clicking into someone's stream and like your internet's not doing the greatest, or like you can't fully handle someone streaming at 1080p and then there's no other option that isn't anything other than 1080p. It's like I feel like I should do it just to be safe, but I also feel like anytime I've streamed, the lower quality options are always there. So I wonder if it's like I feel like I should keep doing the enhanced broadcasting and have stream the lower qualities just in case. But I don't know. I want Twitch to give me access to 1440p streaming. Please, I'm already playing my games in 1440p. Give me an option to stream it in 1440p. It's fucked up. Oh, hi, Ugly. Hi, Ugly. I'm here for the item. No. No, you can stay there. No, I'm okay. No, you can keep it. You can keep being the enemy. Thing I don't like about is they still save and ugh.
妙な化け物が増えてる気がしないか
お前の宇宙戦争だって妙な宇宙人が
That's
どん
fucked
どん
up.
増えてる
I mean, I guess it makes
ひな
sense,
子って
but
シュウ君と話すときは男の子みたいな喋り方だよね。
昔の癖が今も抜けないから
she's such a hater.
俺たちは幼い頃からの付き合いだからな
ふん。だから男女の関係に
Girl, what's your problem?
今はそんな話をしてる時じゃないか
What's your problem? Like, what the fuck is your problem? Yeah, I don't have access to the 1440p streaming on Twitch, unfortunately. Which I guess is like... Do you mind? Which I guess is like fair considering I like until recently couldn't even stream 1080p. So like, I understand them not fucking giving me higher qualities. But oh wait, I still need to repair my weapons, don't I? Shit. I didn't get any toolboxes, did I? No. Let me save. How long have we been playing? Oh, okay. Yeah, the only problem as well with the enhanced bitrate is I can't record my own VODs locally because there's not enough encoders for it. It's like, okay, I could record the VODs on my CPU encoding, but my CPU is already kind of struggling a little when it comes to some of these games. And so like adding extra motherfucker. Adding extra stress on top of that isn't really helping. So it's like for now I'm like, because I know I'm at least streaming in 1080p, I'm okay with using these VODs for the sake of YouTube. Come towards me. Just jump out. I know you want to. Oh my god. But I also want to try multi-streaming to YouTube. I just need to like set all that stuff up. Like I have the internet to do it. I'm just wondering on the my bad. I'm just wondering on the sense of like encoding. Do I have enough bandwidth to do that? If like I'm already hitting encoding overloaded while just doing the enhanced broadcasting to Twitch? So I'm like, I don't know. I'm fighting on like what I really do. It's like, do I sacrifice and do YouTube and Twitch? Or do I sacrifice and do YouTube and Twitch, or do I keep Twitch with the encoding and continue uploading VODs the way I already am? Yeah, that's my hee hee. I'm still thinking about if I should like spend the money upgrading like all of like my internet stuff. Because like my upload no matter what is going to be about 250-ish, I think. It's always going to be about 250-ish on my upload, which like won't get hit at all when I'm streaming or like if I upgrade my stuff. So it's like I'm wondering, ugly motherfucker. Is it worth upgrading for like slightly faster internet on downloads? Especially when I know that like a gigabit is already kind of a lot. Also, hi Zyx. Yeah, Diggy gave out some subs. Feel free to thank them. Well, I guess you already did, but yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, to the alleyway. Ugly motherfuckers. No. Okay. Oh, thank you for the gifted sub, Zyx. I appreciate it. Thank you for forwarding the gift. Oh, there should be something here, no? Ugh, no. Thank you. I don't know, I'm still contemplating the 1 gig that yeah, I know. Because like, okay, my problem is I'm going to be moving probably within the next year, maybe less. I think the estimated time is like sometime in April. And when motherfucker. When I move, it does mean that my internet will probably change again. So I'm really wondering, like, is it worth going out of my way and upgrading all of this stuff if I know that, like...
気が壊れそうだ。
Can I not cross over there? Okay, no. Is it worth doing it if there's a chance that I lose the internet in the next few months? Like, there's honestly a chance that when I move, I just lose fiber again and I go back to, like, my old internet, and it's gonna be so sad. But... I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I do need to at least upgrade locally for my, like, local storage stuff. Rinko, what's your problem? Yeah, I've been really, like, just thinking what the fuck I do. Oh, wrong button. Oh, I guess you can't see because I'm in the way. Oh. Oh, it's Big Boy. Can I just, like, find a pipe bomb and stick it in his stomach? Pipe bomb in the tummy? You know?
何あれ。
Hmm?
やだ、気持ち悪い。
あいつらまさか気持ち悪いので街を飲み込む気なのか。
Rinko, my enemy.
化け物が多すぎる。
迂回しよう。街を突っ切るのは危険すぎる。
Or we're gonna climb over that one box?
そりゃどうしてこんな。
中学校の方へ向かってそこから山道を登ろう。
Oh.
だいぶ遠回りになるが街は避けられる。
Can we?
よし。
Can we really? Also, I like how I'm over here complaining, being like, yeah, no, we keep having, like, encoding overloaded. And, like, oh, and maybe, like, you know, this and that. And then it's like, I'm over here playing at, like, I have Lumen on. I got Lumen on high. I'm playing with Lumen. I'm like, it's so weird. I keep getting encoding overloaded. Me hitting my fucking, like, GPU with Lumen. Motherfucker. Oh, you grabbed me. Okay, my bad. Okay, to be fair though, the performance is still good. Like, the game performance is fine. Like, this is more than playable. It's probably gonna say it's like 40 right now. Yeah, I'm in like the 40s to 50s. Oh no, I'm at 30 now. Oops. But it looks so pretty. It's like it looks pretty. And like it looks pretty on stream. So like, you know. I haven't run a game at like max settings in like 7 years. It sucks because like if I need to replace weapons too. Okay, yeah. If I'm not streaming, I can get like 70 FPS at the max settings. I just need to turn the settings down a little bit for stream. Fuck, I need all of these. Okay. Let's just save. My poor 2060 would cry. Yeah. I'm still so glad that I finally upgraded, but now I'm CPU bottlenecked, and I don't feel like getting a whole new fucking socket, if I'm being honest. Do you mind? Yeah, jump me, pussy. Okay. Like from the 3060 Ti to a fucking dual kit finally. To a 4070 was just such a fucking huge upgrade. Like, oh my god. I'm CPU bottleneck. That's how I cooked. Ugh. Yeah, like I upgraded from a Ryzen 5 3600 to a Ryzen 7 5800X because I was like, I won't need to upgrade anytime soon. It got knocked over. Oh, it's the truck from earlier. Oh. I was like, I won't need a new CPU anytime soon. Opens opens task manager GPU at like 70%, CPU pinned at 100. Ah. Okay, to be fair, like VTube Studio uses so much CPU. Like everyone talks about VTube Studio and like GPU. No, no, no. VTube Studio uses like 15% of my CPU. It's kind of fucking nuts. A farmer's letter. Hmm. Huh? What's in there? Oh, okay. And like I have like my CPU overclock too. I'm running at like 4.5 gigahertz. It's like 4.5 gigahertz across 8 fucking cores, 16 threads, and this shit's like 100% CPUs. Oh, I'm out of... That's health. Well, I just fucked up. What? Oh, I'm dead. Yeah, like if I... Do I have Task Manager open right now? No. Task Manager. Okay, let me click into the game first. VTube Studio is using 13.5% of my CPU. OBS is using 6%. Silent Hill is using like 30. And Tits is using like 5. Oh, and then VBridger's using like another 5. Fuck, I'm so far back. I have to go get the toolkit again. So like, okay, my CPU is fine for if I'm running games off of stream. The problem is I'm unfortunately a streamer. And even if I like upgraded to a 7800 XLED, it's not going to make much of a difference, unfortunately. Do this. I'm out of painkillers, so let's drink the rum, and okay. Okay, now let's pray. Or like save again, just because yeah. My CPU rests at 60 on Discord. Discord is using a total of 0.3 on mine, luckily, right now. So Discord's like leaving me alone at least. I did have to close my browser though before stream because it was using a lot as well. Okay. Sorry, I'm finding the motherfuckers that I know are like coming after me. Oh yeah, bro. Yeah. Like we can use more of the bat like a little soon. Nothing? Really? There was just nothing in this corner? Hmm? My bad. Ugly motherfucker. And a swing. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately VTube Studio uses a lot of CPU and I'm not really sure why. Because like, okay, I would understand VTube Studio using a lot of CPU if I was like using like a webcam or something for tracking. I'm using my phone, which is going into VBridger, which then goes into VTube Studio. Like what? Why? Why are you using so much CPU? For what purpose? Ugh, fucked up. There's such a weird, so many weird, like, small areas. I'm like, oh, maybe there's, no. No. My bad. And swing! Because you're a special motherfucker and I don't like the look of you. Fuck, it broke. My bad. No. No, my baseball bat! Beat him dead, I wanted to. I don't have a baseball bat anymore and I'm fucking pissed. Fuck. Okay, maybe we can find a metal bar. Or like a metal pipe soon again. Can I take the broom? Swing the broom? Okay, let's save. Ugh. I know I need... Oh, there we go. Metal pipe. I know I need to, like, stop, like, fighting everything I see, too. Like, I know it is okay to run. Huh? Oh, I did not like whatever the fuck the sound of that was. Oh. Oh. I don't like these sounds. No? Okay. I'm not liking these sounds, chat. I'm gonna be so for real with you. Painkillers. Finally. How many? Just the one? Ugh. Oh! Oh, I understand. You're gonna make me walk down this area to make me go fucking back. And then go, ah! Because the thing is gonna jump me. Okay. I still jumped anyway. Oh? Okay, I was right. I was right about that being the right way. It's just I couldn't break it myself. Yeah, these are not so good sounds. No! Oh! Oh, ugly motherfucker! Oh, okay, you're pretty ugly. You're really, really ugly. Oh, you're really ugly. I fucking hit the wall. Come? Come. Are you stuck? Nope! You're not stuck. Okay, my bad. I dodged. Oh, motherfucker. Journal updated. Oh. That loading screen was a little longer than usual. Okay, didn't ask. Plus ratio. Plus you smell. Plus you're really ugly. Plus you're a bitch. Metal pipe. Fuck. Verbal wombo combo? Yeah, I want to beat this dude's ass. I don't think I'm supposed to beat his... I don't know if I'm supposed to beat his ass, though. Journal updated. Like, no, I'm not beating him. He's beating me. Oh, my computer is like really struggling. Oh. I'm sorry if the stream audio is broken. It's very brokey on my end. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can we lock in? Oh my god, what's happening? Chat. Chat, I just thought about it. Chat. So you know how I've been saying how I'm getting like encoding overloaded and stuff? What if I said that Steam has been recording my gameplay in the background for the game this entire time too? Um Okay, my computer is really struggling though for some reason. My audio is so fucked. What? I hope the audio isn't fucked on stream compared to like what I'm hearing. Fuck. No. Oh, it's really I won't lie that the audio being fucked is really distracting me. I think OBS just fucked up badly and just like tried to overtake my GPU. OBS is like saying that it's using like 70% of my GPU on 3D. So like it's overtaking for the game rendering. Can it not do that? Maybe, hypothetically. Is the audio on stream still working? Yes. Okay. No, my audio is still fucked. Oh. Oh, okay. It's dying a little. I'm not sure why. OBS just overtook my entire GPU for some reason.